Hello, this is wmpyr and happy holidays. Thank you so much for sticking with me this year. It was a rough year, but also a wonderful one, and looking forward to the next. Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. The Eskrima curriculum, Eskrima Kalayarni's Filipino martial arts curriculum that I teach is pretty simple. It's made up of four big parts, okay, four foundations essentially. These are your pillars. Okay, so the first one is circular motions like this. A lot of times this is used for warm-up type exercises, but it's also a conditioning exercise for your wrist to make it stronger and more articulate. But it's also technical. That's number one. Number two is angles of attack forms. There's a lot of different forms, and we have long forms, medium forms, and short forms, but personally, I really like the short ones because they're like Happy Meals. You can bring them home, easy to remember, and they're like single serving kind of ways, but you keep practicing them over and over. So that would be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then number 3, the third curriculum we have is arm weaving. The most famous is the Heaven 6. Starting position like this and goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is arm weaving, and that is the Heaven 6, which is a type of arm weaving. It's one of the techniques in arm weaving. There's all kinds of different variations and stuff. Okay, so number 4, let me put the sticks down for a second. And number 4 is what I call arm entanglement drills, which you need a partner for this kind of stuff. And then this is like shoulder locks, and then going into arm wrenches, and you know, there's all kinds of other moves that you can go into and stuff. And they do stuff like lock flow, which you may have heard before, switching from one joint lock to the next, you know, in a flowing manner. So anyway, those are the 4 curriculums, and you're trying to learn as much of that as possible. And people ask, like, okay, so what's next after that? And it's not so much new material, it's about quality over quantity. So those 4 are your pillars. They're your basics. They are your foundations that you build upon. So you want that solid. And in order to be solid, you need repetition. So you're getting so much repetitions over and over and over and over again that it's all of that stuff just becomes ordinary for you. It becomes so normal that it's ordinary. But through the ordinary and through the repetitions, it transforms into something extraordinary. And that was a very important lesson taught to me a long time ago by an ex-girlfriend who was an artist. And she was talking about art. The way to get good is to do tons of repetition when you're, like, you know, drawing, illustrating, painting, that kind of stuff, that it becomes something special. And the exact same idea here with martial arts. Okay, so, but every human being gets bored, right? And to do the same thing over and over and over can be torture. So what we do to keep things fresh and exciting is, even though we're doing the same curriculum over and over, we're changing weapons. So that's one of the things you can do. You could go single stick, double stick, and of course the sticks are our foundation. But you could go single knife, double knife. There's other bladed weapons like the machete. And then we have specialized weapons such as nunchaku, karambit, balisong, you know, tomahawk, things of that nature. And then we have improvised weapons like baseball cap, t-shirt, shoe. If you've never done the Heaven 6 with some coat hangers or something, please do it. Please do yourself a favor. Experience that, you know. A wrench and a hammer, you know, drinking cup. You got to try it, man. You got to try it. Rock, you know. So improvised weapons. And then another one a lot of times people forget is Kali Eskrima Arnis has an empty hand portion to the art. So also make sure to practice this stuff with empty hand. And even with sticks, I mean, you know, this is a PVC pipe. There's all kinds of sticks, all kinds of different weights, lengths, You know, some have different kind of grooves going on, so they give you different kind of grips. Some might have weight at the end, so it gives you more striking power. You know, so even within sticks, there's all kinds of sticks, you know. So, and of course with knives, there's so many different knives. So that's the kind of thing that helps you keep it fresh, keep it exciting, so that you keep revisiting those 4 curriculums and you're making your quality better and better and better. And that's the whole goal. Another thing that you can do is to focus on wrist, elbow, and shoulder. Okay, and how does this come about? Well, this comes about from when you first start training in the Filipino martial arts. You're going to learn the moves, and you got to do the moves with big motions. Boom. And the reason why you're doing big motions is because it's important to know the start of the move and then the proper ending, the proper end of the move, where you park. Okay. So in order to do that, you got to make sure the moves are nice and exaggerated, nice big motions, okay? And that means you're using shoulder. The focus is on the shoulder. When you see people become more efficient, then they start using elbow. So as you could see that when they do stuff like the Heaven 6, boom, 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 boom. If you notice my elbows right here, they are folding and extending. Fold, and then this one extended. So that's focusing more on the elbow. And then you're going to see people become even more efficient, and that's when they start just really, it's on the wrist right here, like you can see. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so that's a lot of wrist motion there. The focus is there. Even though the wrist is, out of the 3, the most efficient, it doesn't mean it's the ultimate. It just means that body mechanics-wise, the wrist is the most efficient. But in actual combat, you're going to be using them separately, like I said, where it's just wrist, just elbow, just shoulder, and then you can do combinations like wrist and elbow, or elbow and shoulder, or you might combine all 3 together. So, yeah, that just gives you more detail, makes you more technical, and by dividing it up into components like that, it's going to increase your overall skill. And that's what's important here, okay? Now, let's talk about doing this. We're going to apply that Eskrima principle, that philosophy or method of training into boxing, Western boxing, okay? So what I would like for you guys to do is when you're practicing, when you're doing some shadow boxing at home, okay, go ahead and just punch focusing on the wrist. Okay, so boom, 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 like this. You can do a backhand like this, or you could do your hook like this. Just focus, boom, right here on the wrist. Boom, boom. So when you throw your punch, boom, boom, boom. Focus on the snapping of the wrist. Okay, number 2, elbow. So from right here, you're going to go boom, boom, focus on the extension and closing. Boom, boom. That's the elbow strike. Next is the shoulder. So now, you're going to focus on using the shoulder. So please practice that. It would be real good if you could go 1 minute for each one. So 1 minute, just moving around, take it easy, and just use your wrist. 1 minute of elbow, and then 1 minute of shoulder. Okay, this will change it up on your opponent. Makes you harder to be read because you have, you know, those different kinds of punches. And then, like I said, you can combine them all together. That's it for now. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.